I'm Mark, 28M, and I'm in a complicated situation with my ex-wife Kathy, 27F, and her new husband Jonathan, 32M. Kathy and I have known each other since high school. We met during freshman year when we were both part of the school's debate team. At first, we were just friends, but as we spent more time together preparing for debates, we started to develop feelings for each other. We officially started dating in our sophomore year. I remember asking her out after we won a big debate competition. We went to a local diner to celebrate, and I nervously asked her if she wanted to be my girlfriend. She said yes, and from that moment on, we were inseparable. Our relationship continued through high school and into college. We both got into the same university, which seemed like fate at the time. We studied different majors. I was in business, and Kathy was in psychology, but we always made time for each other. We'd study together in the library, go on weekend trips, and plan our future together. After graduation, we got married in a small ceremony. Our families and close friends attended. It was a beautiful day, and at the time, it felt like the natural next step in our relationship. We had been together for so long, and everyone expected us to get married. But looking back, we were far too young and unprepared for marriage. The first few months of our marriage were okay. We moved into a small apartment together and started our first jobs. But soon, the cracks started to show. We began arguing about everything: money, household chores, our careers, even what to watch on TV. It was like we suddenly couldn't agree on anything. Our marriage only lasted a year. The constant fighting became too much for me to handle. I felt like I was losing myself in all the arguments. One night, after a particularly bad fight about something trivial, I think it was about who forgot to buy milk, I told Kathy I wanted a divorce. I expected her to fight back, to try and convince me to stay, but she didn't. She just nodded and said, "If that's what you want." I think her pride stopped her from arguing. But then, during the divorce proceedings, we found out Kathy was pregnant. This changed everything. We both wanted to be parents, and for a moment, I considered staying in the marriage for the baby's sake. But deep down, I knew that wouldn't be fair to any of us. I still felt we shouldn't stay married. Kathy wanted to cancel the divorce and work things out. She argued that we should give our marriage another chance for our child. But I was set on leaving. I suggested shared custody and co-parenting, living close to each other initially for the baby's sake. Kathy wasn't happy about this arrangement. She believed that a child needed both parents in the same home. We had many heated discussions about this, but eventually, she agreed to my terms. Looking back, I realize now that I got married because I thought it was what I was supposed to do, not because I felt ready. Kathy had been talking about marriage since our second year of college. She would point out engagement rings in store windows and talk about her dream wedding. I didn't feel emotionally ready for such a big commitment, but I didn't want to break her heart or risk losing her. So I went through with it, even though deep down, I wanted to make a life of my own before settling down. After a year of marriage, I knew it wasn't working. The person I saw myself becoming in that marriage wasn't someone I liked. I was constantly irritated, always on edge, and I felt like I was losing my identity. When we found out about the baby, I felt even more strongly that we should separate. I didn't think it was right to bring a child into an unhappy marriage. I believed that we could be better parents if we were happy separately rather than miserable together. Kathy thought we should stay together for the baby's sake. She came from a family where her parents had stayed in an unhappy marriage for the kids, and she seemed to think that was the right thing to do. But I had seen how that affected her growing up, and I didn't want that for our child. It was hard, but I eventually convinced Kathy to agree to my terms. We got divorced but stayed in touch for our son. We set up a system where our son spends half the month with each of us. I try to be there for him as much as possible, and so does Kathy. I can't say Kathy and I are friends. She still has a lot of anger towards me, which I understand. I still care for her. After all, we have a long history together, but I know we couldn't have been happy together long term. Our personalities and life goals were just too different. I was there for her during the pregnancy and birth, even staying with her for a few days after our son was born to help out. I wanted to show her that even though our marriage was over, I was committed to being a good father and co-parent. Despite this, Kathy told everyone that I had abandoned her when she needed me most. She painted me as the villain in our story, telling our friends and family that I had left her alone and pregnant. Most of my friends stopped speaking to me because of what she said. Some of them sent me angry messages, calling me selfish and irresponsible. I didn't confront her about these lies. I felt guilty about marrying her when I wasn't ready, about not being honest about my feelings from the start. I accepted the social backlash as my punishment for my mistakes. Strangely, Kathy was always nice to me in person when we met for handovers of our son. It felt like she might want to get back together, even though she was spreading lies about me to others. It was confusing and frustrating. Sometimes, she would hint at giving our relationship another try, but then I would hear from mutual friends about how she was bad-mouthing me to them. I decided to focus on my work and our son instead of trying to figure out Kathy's mixed signals. I threw myself into my career, working long hours to advance in my company. When I wasn't working, I devoted my time to my son, trying to be the best father I could be despite the complicated situation with his mother. About a year after our divorce, Kathy started dating again. I found out through social media posts and comments from mutual friends. It hurt to see her moving on, even though I knew our relationship was over. But I didn't say anything because I wanted her to be happy. She deserved to find someone who could give her what I couldn't. She made a big deal about her dates on social media, posting pictures and status updates about her newfound happiness. It felt like she was trying to provoke a reaction from me. When I didn't react, she told me directly that she was dating. I told her I was fine with it, which seemed to disappoint her. I think she was hoping I would be jealous or upset. Then, one rainy evening when Kathy came to pick up our son, I invited her to stay until the rain stopped. It was a gesture of politeness, nothing more. But as we waited, we got talking, reminiscing about old times. We remembered the good parts of our relationship, our first date, our college adventures, the day our son was born. One thing led to another, and we ended up sleeping together. The next morning, I woke up feeling confused and guilty. But Kathy was already gone, and she had taken our son with her. She left a message saying it was a mistake and she didn't want to get back together. I was hurt but tried to accept it as a one-time thing, a moment of weakness for both of us. After that incident, I started distancing myself from Kathy even more. I only talked to her about our son, keeping our conversations brief and to the point. She tried to get back on good terms several times, inviting me for coffee or suggesting we take our son out together, but I rejected her attempts. I felt like I needed clear boundaries to avoid any more complicated situations. Then Kathy started dating Jonathan. I knew him as the older brother of a mutual friend from school. He seemed like a good guy, successful, kind, and stable. I was happy for Kathy. It looked like she had found someone who could give her the kind of relationship she wanted. Our interactions decreased even more after that, which was fine with me as I was trying to move on with my own life. I focused on my career and on being a good father to our son. I even started going on a few dates myself, though nothing serious came of them. But a few weeks before Kathy's wedding to Jonathan, she showed up at my apartment late at night. I was surprised to see her there, especially so late. When I opened the door, she was crying. She said she missed me and had made a huge mistake. She confessed that everything she'd done over the past couple of years, the dating, the social media posts, even her relationship with Jonathan, was all to try to get me back. I was shocked by her confession. Part of me was angry that she had manipulated the situation for so long, but another part of me still cared for her. In a moment of weakness, we ended up sleeping together again. The next morning, Kathy was crying again, but for a different reason. She said she loved Jonathan and was just scared about getting married. She begged me to keep what happened between us a secret, saying that sleeping with me had made her realize she really did love Jonathan. I agreed not to tell anyone, feeling used and disappointed. Kathy and Jonathan got married, and I tried to move on. I dated a bit more seriously, even having a relationship that lasted a few months, but it didn't work out. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was still entangled in my past with Kathy. Recently, at our son's birthday party, things took a turn. Kathy invited me to the party, suggesting we have one celebration instead of separate ones like usual. I agreed, thinking it would be good for our son to see us getting along. I showed up after work, a bit late due to heavy traffic. As soon as I arrived, Kathy started making jokes at my expense. She commented on how I was late because I put work over everything else, a clear jab at our divorce. Then she started making fun of my receding hairline, something I've been self-conscious about. Jonathan joined in, suggesting I take time off work to actually live life because I had made some pretty bad life choices. I was shocked by their behavior, especially in front of our son and the other guests at the party. When I asked them to elaborate, they listed reasons they thought I had screwed up my life, including my divorce from Kathy and prioritizing work. They seemed to take pleasure in pointing out what they saw as my failures. I was hurt and angry. I couldn't believe Kathy would say these things, given our history and the secret we shared. And I was disappointed in Jonathan for joining in, especially since I had always tried to be respectful of their relationship despite what had happened. Feeling cornered and upset, I did something I'm not proud of. I wrote a note on my son's birthday present. I still know your secret and I know you don't want anybody else to learn about it, so watch your words around me. Then I left the party, not even saying goodbye to my son. The next morning, Kathy called me crying. She apologized for what she'd said, explaining she was upset because I was late and our son had been asking for me. She begged me not to reveal her secret, saying it would ruin her marriage and hurt our son. But I've realized that I've been letting Kathy manipulate me for too long. Her behavior at the party, followed by her tearful apology, made me see how she's been playing with my emotions for years. I'm considering telling Jonathan the truth about what happened before their wedding. I don't want to live with his secret anymore, and I think Jonathan deserves to know the truth about his wife. So, Reddit, Wibta, if I told my ex-wife's husband the truth about her infidelity? Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since my son's birthday party, and a lot has happened. I've been thinking hard about what to do, replaying events in my mind and considering the potential consequences of my actions. After much deliberation, I made a decision. I told Jonathan the truth. I sent him a detailed message explaining everything that happened between Kathy and me before their wedding. I included the date it happened, the circumstances leading up to it, and Kathy's behavior afterwards. I also included proof of Kathy being at my place that night, a security camera screenshot from my apartment building showing her entering late at night and leaving early in the morning. After sending the message, I blocked both Jonathan and Kathy. I know it might seem cowardly, but I needed some space to process everything. I know I'll have to see Kathy eventually when I pick up our son, but for now, I don't want to deal with either of them. I also told everyone I know to keep Kathy out of our conversations. Some friends and family members have been trying to ask me about what's going on, but I've been deflecting their questions. I did what I had to do, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I shared my side of the story and spoke my truth. I'm done with that chapter of my life. As of now, I haven't received any messages or threats. I'm guessing they haven't told people yet, but I'm mentally prepared for when the news does come out. I know it's going to be messy, and I'm likely to lose some friends over this. But I feel like it's a price I have to pay for my peace of mind. I know some people might think I did this out of jealousy or to get Kathy back, but that's not true. I did it to get rid of my own guilt. Maybe it was Kathy's fault for cheating, but it was my mistake too for going along with it. I want to be a good father, and to do that, I need to be a good person first. Living with this secret was eating away at me, affecting my relationships and my self-esteem. The only person I feel sorry for in this situation is Jonathan. He's a nice guy who didn't deserve any of this. But at least now he knows the truth and can make his own decisions. I hope he finds the strength to do what's best for him, whatever that might be. I've been reflecting on my past choices too. I made a mistake marrying Kathy when I wasn't ready. We were both young and immature, and neither of us was prepared for marriage. Having a child together complicated things even more. I wonder how different our lives would have been if we had waited a few years before getting married, or if we had been honest with each other about our doubts. I've also been thinking about how I handled our divorce and co-parenting situation. While I stand by my decision to end our marriage, I wonder if I could have communicated better or been more supportive during the transition. Maybe if I had been more clear about my feelings and boundaries from the start, we could have avoided some of the drama that followed. This whole situation has made me realize that I need to work on myself. I want to be a better person, not just for my son, but for myself too. I'm considering taking some time off work to focus on personal growth and spending more time with my son. I've realized that I've been using work as an escape from my personal problems, and that's not healthy for me or for my relationship with my son. I'm also planning to be more honest in my relationships going forward. Keeping secrets and avoiding confrontation has only led to more problems. It's time for me to face things head on and communicate more openly. This includes being honest with my son, in an age-appropriate way, about what's going on between his mother and me. As for Kathy, I hope she takes this as a wake-up call too. We both made mistakes, and we both need to do better for the sake of our son. I'm not interested in rekindling our relationship, but I do hope we can eventually find a way to co-parent more effectively. Right now, that seems like a distant possibility, but I have to believe that we can get there for our son's sake. For now, I'm focusing on my son and myself. I've arranged for him to stay with me for the next few weeks while things settle down. I want to make sure he feels loved and secure during this turbulent time. We've been doing a lot of fun activities together, playing games, watching movies, going to the park. I'm trying to create a sense of normalcy for him amidst all this chaos. I know there will be fallout from my decision to tell Jonathan the truth. Kathy's family and friends might come after me, and I might lose some more friends. But I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I'm ready to face it with a clear conscience. I've learned a lot from this experience, and I'm determined to do better moving forward. I want to be someone my son can look up to, someone who stands by their principles even when it's difficult. I know the road ahead won't be easy. There will be tough conversations, awkward encounters, and probably some heated arguments. But I'm prepared for that. I'm done running from my problems or sweeping them under the rug. It's time to face everything head on. To anyone out there in a similar situation, wondering whether to reveal a difficult truth, I say this: think carefully about your motivations and the potential consequences. But also consider the cost of keeping secrets. Sometimes, the short-term pain of telling the truth is worth the long-term peace it brings. Update 2: It's been a month since I told Jonathan the truth, and as expected, all hell broke loose. The news of Kathy and Jonathan's divorce has spread like wildfire. Just as I predicted, Kathy's family and friends have been attacking me nonstop. My phone has been blowing up with messages calling me a homewrecker, a sociopath, and worse. They're convinced I did this because I want Kathy for myself. But they couldn't be more wrong. I did this to free myself from the burden of guilt and lies. I'm not interested in getting back together with Kathy. Our relationship has been toxic for years, and I'm finally ready to break free from it completely. Jonathan reached out to me last week. It was a difficult conversation, but I'm glad we had it. He thanked me for telling him the truth, even though it was painful. He said he had suspicions about Kathy's fidelity but never had concrete proof. He's hurt and angry, but he's grateful to know the truth before they started a family together. Kathy, on the other hand, is furious. She showed up at my apartment unannounced, yelling and crying. She accused me of ruining her life and said she'd never forgive me. I remained calm and told her that she ruined her own life by cheating and lying. I also reminded her that she had plenty of opportunities to come clean to Jonathan herself. The hardest part of all this has been explaining the situation to our son. He's confused and upset about why Uncle Jonathan isn't around anymore and why Mommy and Daddy are fighting again. We've tried to shield him from most of the drama, but kids are perceptive. He knows something is wrong. Kathy and I had a long, difficult conversation about how to handle co-parenting moving forward. We've agreed to keep our interactions strictly about our son and to never badmouth each other in front of him. It's going to be challenging, but it's necessary for our son's well-being. I've also had to deal with the fallout among our mutual friends. Some have sided with Kathy, believing her version of events. Others have stood by me, appreciating my honesty. A few have chosen to distance themselves from both of us, not wanting to get involved in the drama. Through all of this, I've stuck to my decision to focus on personal growth. I've started reading self-help books and practicing mindfulness. I'm learning to set better boundaries and communicate more effectively. It's not easy, but I'm already seeing positive changes in my life. I've also been spending more quality time with my son. We've been going on weekend adventures, playing games, and just talking. I want him to know that no matter what happens between his mother and me, he is loved and supported. As for my relationship with Kathy, it's at an all-time low. We're barely speaking beyond what's necessary for our son. Part of me feels sad about this, given our long history together. But another part feels relieved. The constant drama and manipulation are finally over. I know the road ahead won't be easy. There will be more challenges as we navigate this new reality. But for the first time in years, I feel like I'm on the right path. I'm no longer living a lie or carrying the weight of someone else's secrets. To those who are in similar situations, wondering whether to reveal a difficult truth, I say this: it won't be easy, but the peace of mind is worth it. Living with integrity, even when it's painful, is better than living with guilt and lies. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm ready to face it head on, with honesty and integrity. It's time to write a new chapter in my life, one where I'm true to myself and those around me. Update 3: It's been half a year since everything blew up, and life has finally started to settle into a new normal. Kathy and Jonathan's divorce was finalized last month. It wasn't pretty, but it's done. Kathy has moved to a different part of town, which has made our co-parenting arrangement more challenging, but we're making it work. Our son is doing better now. We've both been putting in extra effort to make sure he feels secure and loved. He's in therapy to help him process all the changes, and it seems to be helping. He still asks about Jonathan sometimes, which is hard, but we're honest with him in an age-appropriate way. Kathy and I have established a strictly business-like relationship when it comes to our son. We communicate through a co-parenting app to keep things organized and avoid unnecessary conflict. It's not ideal, but it's functional. I've stuck to my personal growth plan. I've been seeing a therapist regularly, which has been incredibly helpful in processing everything that's happened and working on my issues. I've also joined a support group for divorced parents, which has given me a safe space to share my experiences and learn from others. Work-wise, I did end up taking some time off. I used it to reconnect with myself and my son. When I returned, I had a frank discussion with my boss about achieving a better work-life balance. Surprisingly, they were very understanding and supportive. As for my social life, things have improved. I've reconnected with some old friends who reached out after hearing about everything that happened. I've also made some new friends through my support group. It's nice to have people around who understand what I've been through. Kathy's family eventually stopped harassing me. I think they finally realized that their anger was misdirected. A few of them even apologized for their behavior. I appreciated their apologies, but I'm keeping my distance for now. Jonathan and I have had a few more conversations. He's doing better, focusing on his career and spending time with friends. He thanked me again for telling him the truth, saying it allowed him to make informed decisions about his life. As for Kathy, last I heard, she's also in therapy. I hope she's working on herself and her issues. Despite everything, I do want her to be happy and healthy, if only for our son's sake. Looking back, I don't regret my decision to tell the truth. It was difficult and messy, but it was the right thing to do. I'm proud of myself for finally standing up and refusing to be manipulated any longer. This experience has taught me a lot about the importance of honesty, integrity, and self-respect. It's also shown me the value of setting boundaries and the strength it takes to stick to them. I'm not naive enough to think that everything will be smooth sailing from here on out. Co-parenting with Kathy will always be challenging, and I'm sure there will be more hurdles to overcome. But I feel equipped to handle whatever comes my way.